consider myself a friendly person who is for the most part able to get along with anybody who doesn't go out of their way to be a dickhead. But lately I've been thinking about the effect that the people around us have on our own well-being and success. Now, I generally believe myself to be a pretty strong and assertive person who's not easily swayed by things like peer pressure and other people's opinions. But I think it can get to a point where you sort of subconsciously shift the way you behave based on just who you're around. Like, say if you wanted to try and exercise more, but none of the people you usually hang out with ever exercise. There might be situations where you have to choose between hanging out with them or going to the gym. They may not take your endeavor seriously. They may say it's a phase or something. They may even support you, but the point is there's always going to be a slight disconnect because they're not exactly on the same page as you. And it's very possible that their general apathy towards exercise could rub off on you and make you less excited to do it. And this could also be an issue when you need to make a specific change that directly affects your relationship with you and your friends. Like, say your friend group has a tradition of going out to eat every weekend, but you've decided you want to eat healthier and cook more meals at home. That might cause a disconnect. I mean, it may not ruin your entire relationship, but it will affect the dynamic. And these are all tame examples. I mean, I can think of many worse things that can affect your future and success and well-being and things like that. Like, if you sit at lunch with people who like to gossip and talk shit about people all the time, that negativity will either infect you or discourage you. If you have a family member or friend or significant other who's always belittling you, ridiculing you, comparing you to other people, no matter how strong a person you believe yourself to be, that kind of feedback does nothing to help you and everything to hurt you. Sometimes we have to take a second to examine our environment and determine whether or not the people in our lives are actually enriching us and supporting us and inspiring us. But sometimes we may not even realize we're in a toxic situation. And I don't mean that in a negative or accusatory way necessarily. Sometimes you and the people around you just aren't on the same page. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it may be harder to improve your attitude or achieve the things you want in life if you spend too much time with them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is always an easy problem to fix. I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of not showing up to that bar or not returning those calls anymore. But of course it can get more complicated than that. Maybe these people live with you, or maybe you've grown close to these people and you feel like you would be betraying them. But I do think analyzing your relationships and cutting off the bad ones is an important thing to do. And I hate to say it, but it's usually worth the potential downsides at the end of the day. That's just me though. Big shout outs to these awesome people for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, or if you just want more information, there will be a link at the end of the video. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to all of the new subscribers. How you doing? If you like the video, please press the thumbs up button and subscribe if you like my hair.